I thank the Vice Chairman, Senator Shelby, for his
Senator
remarks.
from Maryland is.
Mr. President, I thank the Vice Chairman for his remarks, and I think he makes excellent points. We had a tough top line to meet. The CBO scored. I mean, these are really, these budgets speak words. And the people are trying to follow it. The Congressional Budget Office actually says how much things will cost. And when they took a look at what our FHA program and certain mortgage rates will cost, they found out we overestimated the revenue by $4 billion. So that's a lot of money, even by Washington standards. So we have had to adjust accordingly, and it's not been easy. But I'll tell you, we are now coming now to talk about what we're really doing. What are the agencies we want to fund, why we want to fund them at the amount they do, and what are the problems they actually solve for the American people. The American people have a right to ask at the end of the day, not did you spend money, but what did you spend it on and what did we get for it? Are we a stronger country? Do we have a better economy? Do our children have a brighter future? Are we meeting compelling human need? And I think in these three bills, the answer is yes. When we look at the Commerce, Justice, Science, we just want to tell you what we've done. The Commerce, Justice, Science really funds several different agencies, and it comes to a total of $51.2 billion. It's consistent with the CJS allocation, and it's $398 billion less. I'm going to say this clearly. What we're doing in the Commerce, Justice, Science bill, we are spending less money than we did last year, but we think we're getting more value for the dollar. We are $398 million below what we spent. But at the same time, we've kept our community safe, we've promoted jobs, and we've promoted innovation. We used our spending to guide federal decisions from federal law enforcement, to space exploration. The CJS bill provides $28 billion for the Justice Department. This is $260 million more than 2014. We did this because we believe the Justice Department is an agency the people in local communities feel that they need to be able to count on. It keeps America safe from crime and terrorism. It protects communities at the local level and families against domestic violence and sexual predators. And the job of the Justice Department is to administer justice fairly. This bill funds key law enforcement and prosecution agencies. What do we mean by that? Federal law enforcement is made up of the FBI, the Drug Enforcement Administration, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the Marshal Service, and the U.S. attorneys that actually prosecute the bad guys or the bad gals from everything from mortgage fraud, cyber terrorism, to drug dealing and drug cartels. So they can keep us safe from all of this, protecting us against gangs, drug dealers. Why is it important? Federal law enforcement goes after gang activity, fraudsters trying to be more predatory. And what is the result in this funding? We've done a lot. In my own home state of Maryland, over the last year, our federal law enforcement have arrested 280 violent fugitives. Federal law enforcement brought down child pornographers and traffickers, bank robbers, and took a big whack at the heroin trafficking rings. I'm really proud of them. And I'm proud of what they do in Maryland, and I'm proud of what they do around the world. Look at how our FBI, working with our special operations, brought to heel and brought into our custody one of the men who killed our embassy personnel in Benghazi. Let's do a big hurrah for the FBI and Special Ops, but let's do our hurrah not only with words, but putting the money in the federal checkbook so that they get to be able to continue to do the job of keeping America safe. There are many other things in this bill that are important. This is why we look out for our state and local departments. We've also put in an important investment in violence against women. We're spending $430 million to give grants to prevent and prosecute domestic violence, and also to be able to deal and help with rape victims. This bill puts money in the federal checkbook to put more officers on the beat, but I like the fact that we're actually protecting them with more bulletproof vests and being able to do other things. This bill also addresses the backlog of sexual assaults, making sure that we test no matter where they are. We have seen time and time again that evidence is gathered and that somehow or another it's in some box, in some lab, or some police department. Rape victims cannot be dually assaulted, one by the predator who attacked them and then by a lackluster prosecutorial system. If you gather the evidence, test it and use it to make sure we've got the right predator, prosecute the predator, see if they're a serial predator, and let's not doubly assault the victim by not only what happened to them on the street, but also what happens to them in the criminal justice system. So we're doing a lot here. So I feel very strongly about this, but I also feel very strongly about the need to create jobs. This bill provides $86 billion for the Department of Commerce, which helps them protect our patents, promotes trade and economic development. It helps our coastal economies with sustainable fisheries and healthy oceans. It exports American goods and services and supports more than 11 million jobs. So this bill does a lot by putting our commercial service officers, those who actually work in embassies, to work with business, to be able to help them. And we make sure that they're not only in Europe, but they're in Asia and Africa where the new opportunities are. Our dynamic Secretary of Commerce has focused on bringing foreign investment to the United States, and we've seen what they've meant in Maryland and what they've meant in Alabama and what they meant in America. We also, through the Commerce Department, fund severe help with our Weather Bureau. I'm going to say more about it. But what I do want to talk about right now is the National Science Foundation, one of our other main agencies, because it does the basic research in science, technology, and engineering. Then there's NASA. I'm going to say more about NASA later. I know that we have others waiting to speak. NASA, actually, we have done more than what the president wanted to do because we wanted to have a balanced space program. We've particularly emphasized human spaceflight, a reliable transportation system, and space science. Mr. President, we have here where we're creating jobs, we're protecting people in their communities, and we're laying the groundwork for what jobs are in the future. There are many other things that I will talk about as the bill unfolds. The other thing that I want to just say is that I have worked very close, Senator Shelby and I have worked very closely with Senator Coburn. Everybody knows that Senator Coburn prides himself on being a watchdog on federal spending. And you know what? He has been. I love some of his ideas. Some give me a little pause. But we actually met. We actually met to see what could we do to be able to reform our government so that we could get more value for the dollar. I'm going to have a separate speech just on that so that the American people know when they say, watch what you spend, Barb, I really am doing it. So Senator Shelby, so are the members of our committee. Mr. President, I'm going to yield the floor.